Happy New Year, everybody. Well, everybody except, of course, our very own Greg Gutfeld, wishing you, of course, continued miserable failure, which seems to have suited you extraordinarily well. That tradition of wishing you the worst, I fall right in line. All the very worst to you, pal, in 2018.
Well, I guess he didn't take the breakup well. All right, so 2017 has come to an end, and I'm exhausted from all the awesomeness that's happened. Yes, let's face it, Trump ran his critics ragged in 2017, and his critics had a fit. Watch a year-end show on one of the other channels, and it'll probably look like this. I think that was Keith Olbermann. Just grab a pacifier, you bunch of babies. Sure, Trump kept us on our toes, but if critics looked through the tongs of the pitchforks they were holding, they'd see a lot of good stuff happen, like the economy. Did you find a job in 2017? If you did, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. Did your investments do well? Do you have... Oh, there you go. I wish I had investments. Do you have more in your retirement fund? Go get your statement and check. I'll wait. See, I knew you did. Good for you. Are we safer than we were last year? Yes, because in 2017, we dropped the mother of all bombs on ISIS. Talk about sending a message. Trump gave the military the freedom to do what needed to be done, and now ISIS strongholds in Iraq aren't strong anymore. And just for good measure, Trump threw in this.
So many young, beautiful, innocent people living and enjoying their lives murdered by evil losers in life. I won't call them monsters because they would like that term.
He's right. Anyway, he got us out of the Paris Climate Accord, not because he hates the environment, but because he hates a bad deal. He didn't want to spend a ton of cash on a plan that barely moves the needle on reducing emissions. So that saved us money. But again, the left cried like a baby who just had his cookie stolen. I root for the dog every time. And then, of course, there were the tweets. Like asking those basketball players for a thank you after springing them out of a Chinese jail, or calling Kim Jong-un Little Rocket Man. He didn't call him short and fat. He would never do that, of course. Or calling out Hillary Clinton for not letting go of the election. Remember how she blamed everyone? Remember how she blamed everyone for her loss? So Trump told her to get on with her life. That's good advice. Dr. Phil tells people that all the time. And he's bald, so he's got to be right. Of course, there was Kofefi. That's the tweet that Trump chose to delete. Of all the tweets, Kofefi. It's the safest one he's ever done. But 2017 wasn't just about Trump. It was about Harvey. No, not that Harvey. I'm talking about this Harvey. The Harvey that reminded us that Americans, despite our differences, will help each other out when we need it most. The Harvey that showed humanity and bravery. There you go. And generosity. And also what monster trucks are for. Trucks helping trucks. That's the Harvey I'll remember from 2017. Not that other. So, all things considered, a good year. We're safer and more prosperous. What more could we ask for? I'm going to sleep like a baby, while the rest of them are going to scream like one. shall we? He's so sharp. When he talks, he gives your brain splinters. Creator and host of the Rubin Report, Dave Rubin. He's the tallest and smartest DeVito, which isn't saying much. His latest comedy album is called First Date. Writer and comedian Joe DeVito. She's slim and grim. National Review reporter Kat Timpf. And he carries the New Year's Eve ball in his bowling bag. Former bodyguard and my massive sidekick, Tyrus. So, Dave, what grade would you give President Trump for his first year in office, and why would you pick that grade?
Well, first off, Greg, I think we should give props to CNN for licensing you guys footage of their hosts at the top of the show.
True.
That was very nice. I mean, you'd think with the competition they wouldn't do that.
Yes.
What grade? I mean, I'd say around a B-ish, somewhere in there. I mean, to me, it's the people that have gone crazy is the part that I'm enjoying this. Like, I always had this belief that most people were crazy.
Yes.
Now I know it to be true.
Yes.
Everyone has pretty much lost their mind, and I enjoy tracking it.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about this before. It's people driven by their own confirmation bias. They can't get out of it. Like, they think, if you think that this guy is awful and evil, there's no way you're going to get out of it until you have to force yourself out.
Yeah. I mean, look, this guy is so rich. Do you think anyone with that amount of money would want to do this job?
Yeah,
he must really want to do it. To have to be around these kids at the parties and go and put his hand on the orb in Saudi Arabia and all this other stupid stuff. He could be doing whatever he wants for the rest of his life.
He'd rather put his hand on other things. Anyway,
apparently.
I don't even know what that means. On the head of an orphan as he feeds him rice. That's what I meant,
that
America.
Was slick.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Joe, good to see you and your strangely colored beard. What do you think about 2017? What do you think of Trump's performance? What do you think of anything?
I would say I'm not going to give him a grade in the usual A to F scale because I think he would come in at like a Q, a number 15. He's completely outside the realm of any grading system we've used before.
Between a 1 and a 10, you would say banana.
Something like that.
Yes.
I would say tennis ball or sneaker.
Yes.
He's completely changed the game, and he's brought everybody along with him, whether they like it or not. He's doing so well that he's making life easier for people who hate him.
Yeah.
Because if Hillary Clinton had been elected, we wouldn't have had all these stories about men in power abusing women coming out. That would have continued his business as usual. So if you're glad that Harvey Weinstein's been brought down, that any of these other guys, don't thank these people kept their mouths shut. Thank Donald Trump.
You mean because if Hillary had been president?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting perspective, Kat. 2017, net positive, net negative, or net neutrality?
Well, I'm not going to really grade anything on a socially constructed basis like that. I would like to speak more generally and from the heart.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't get it.
Think about last year when he was elected. We were waiting for him to be president. Everyone was saying he was Hitler. We were all going to die. We were all supposed to be in bunkers eating cold cream corn out of cans right now.
That's what I do.
And now we're only doing that when and if we do want to, which is fine.
Yes.
They set the bar at making it seem like it would be such a disaster, and I'm looking around at my life and I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's actually just fine.
Yeah, it is. It's weird, isn't it, Tyrus, that if you step away from all the emotion, it's kind of normal, I guess. But it's really not normal because there's so much emotion.
I think it's a letdown for them that it's not. I mean, they predict all this chaos and all these things are going to happen. And
yeah, I was excited.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen because it's not how it works. He just has a different agenda than you. You didn't win the election. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the guy cutting me off in traffic or the lady who takes too long at the checkout stand. Those are the people that affect my life on an everyday. Not what Donald Trump is doing. But
Isn't
as
it
far
funny
as a grade, I gave him a C+. We got to work on that citizenship, though. Probably, he might have a U in the citizenship.
Yeah.
Not getting along with his peers in the classroom. Talking without raising his hand. Maybe
that was like a
showing some insults at recess. We got to work on that.
What was the report card? What was that called in the report card? Do you remember?
Incomplete.
Citizenship.
And
you either got a satisfactory or, in case of young Tyrus, unsatisfactory.
I always had problems.
Mine was called. I think mine was called conduct.
Conduct. Yes.
Conduct. Yeah, and mine was always incomplete because I always killed the teacher. I would shift from school to school if you called them schools. Dave, you were about to say something?
Well, isn't it funny that they can't stop themselves? Every time something happens, they tell you the world is going to end the next day, right? Paris Accord, world's going to end the next day. Net neutrality, world's going to end the next day. Tax plan, world's going to end the next day. eventually, you know, the boy who cried wolf, how did it work out for him?
Yeah.
There was
Not
an
well.
entire
Not well.
segment about how Diet Coke could be affecting his brain.
Yes.
He doesn't even drink alcohol. I drink so much alcohol, and my brain's not affected at all.
Yes. Yes. We have one of the few audiences that applaud alcohol abuse.
Speaking of abuse, you know, the Paris Accord, ever since the United States left, everyone else is not doing their stuff. Like India and China are like, yeah, we'll get to it whenever we feel like, but they're still building more coal mines and they're going with a cheaper electric. They're not doing the stuff that they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of like, because the rule is do it when you feel like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what that is? It's like when somebody's waiting for somebody to like leave a party because you don't want to be the first one to leave. So you got a really terrible party that's thrown by one of your friends, and you don't want to leave. So you wait for somebody else to leave. Trump just said, "I'm out of here," and made it very loud. This party sucks.
Yeah. It was the mass exodus.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like about him is that he's not a butt kisser like all the other politicians we've been used to. He doesn't need any of us. It's great. You could put him on a desert island, he'd behave exactly the same.
Exactly.
He would be bossing around crabs, telling coconuts they're losers. He doesn't need us. It's great. It's very liberating.
It is weird because there was this period when we were like, obviously I was incredibly nervous about him, but I was like, you kept telling yourself, oh, when he's elected, he's going to change. He's going to be a different person. I was wrong to expect that. I was wrong because you don't want somebody to change because none of us would change.
No.
None of us would change. And neither did he. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be a different person." He's actually more Trump.
Yeah, well, you can't tell the guy who did the thing that nobody said he could do, right?
Yeah.
You can't tell him to change after.
Yeah. Except though the good news is, a lot of the people that shouldn't have been there are now gone, right? The people that cashed in their favors got in and got out within the first couple of months. Or with Omarosa, it took 9 months.
Boy, Omarosa.
Yeah.
If only he had some sort of catchphrase to let her know she was no longer employed.
That's
If only
true.
he had some pithy
That's
two-word
true.
thing.
Like you're let go. Something like that. You're let
something
go.
like that.
Hold on, Omarosa's done an amazing thing. She's brought the entire country together.
Yeah,
it was the
true.
first time in history that MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News all had the same story. We hate Omarosa. It was amazing.
But it is interesting to see that I looked through some of the year-end articles and people were saying it's better than expected, and they were saying it through gritted teeth that it's better than expected. People that can't stand them, you still see the people that are like they're going like something really bad is going to happen
Because of all the Diet Coke.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like all this could change with a nuclear attack in North Korea, or maybe he's secretly crazy, or the Russian thing's going to explode. They have all of these things ready to grab, but they're not. They're never there.
Yeah, and it's also bringing down people who opposed him.
Yeah.
That these Russian investigations now they're saying Jill Stein is and if that's the case, Russia should get their rubles back.
Yes.
If they put the bet on Jill Stein having an impact.
Jill Stein.
The North Korea thing's never going to happen either.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un's having way too much fun fighting with Donald Trump.
Yes.
He knows that no one else will be as good and fun to fight with. I've been in entire relationships like that.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. They love each other.
They'll never
in a
stop.
strange, perverse way.